Hey, Sonic, happy 30th anniversary, man. How's the new game looking?
Do you like comic books?
It's 2021, the year of Sonic's 30th anniversary, and there's been a lot going on for everything other than the actual games. If we're counting Team Sonic Racing as the most recent Sonic game, then we've since had a major redesign for the movie, the release of said movie and the confirmation of a sequel, most of the Metal Virus saga of the IDW comic series and its resulting fallout, the announcement of a new 3D Sonic show on Netflix, what seems like a total voice actor recast, among so many other small changes around SEGA, and yet we still don't have a clue what the next Sonic game will actually be. Now, I should make it clear that I'm not one of those people complaining on Twitter about the lack of Sonic news for the past couple of years. I know you all like to cry and moan that we haven't seen Sonic for a few days, but sometimes it's nice to let a franchise rest while things get sorted behind the scenes. I don't want a repeat of the Dark Age where we got 2 or 3 major Sonic games released every year, and maybe one of them was decent. I do understand the frustrations though, trust me, we'll get to it. So while I counted Team Sonic Racing as the last Sonic game, that was technically just a spin-off. Not counting the additional content and physical release of Mania Plus, the last major Sonic title developed in-house by Sonic Team was Sonic Forces, way back in 2017. For context, the Nintendo Switch wasn't even a year old yet, but when this video drops, it will have just turned 4. So as much as I would prefer that Sonic Team take their time with new games, it's a bit hard to trust their silence when the last time this happened, the last time we waited 3 to 4 years for a new mainline title was during the 25th anniversary. And we got Sonic Forces. So, right now in early 2021, with no official news on a new Sonic title, but a lot going on in basically every other department, how do I think the franchise is going? And what exactly do I want to see from the 30th anniversary this year? This video consists of short critiques on various Sonic-related content and events over the past couple years that I haven't had the chance to talk about, especially since I haven't actually made a YouTube video for almost a year. Don't worry, I'll explain that at the end. This script began in around mid-February, so hopefully it doesn't become seriously outdated by the time this video is actually edited. This is a critique on Sonic in 2021. Alright, let's start with the big controversial one first. Please actually pay attention to what I have to say about this. Sonic the Hedgehog, the live-action film, released on February 14th, Valentine's Day of 2020, remembered as the last movie to ever be released ever. I spoke about this a while back before it came out, and back when Sonic still looked like a disgusting goblin. I'll be honest and say that, yes, the final design of Sonic, reimagined by the legendary Tyson Hesse, is a huge improvement, but I still don't like it. He's too hairy, like yuck, look at all those extra little bits sticking out of his spikes. The eyes are very square-shaped with hard vertical edges, and don't capture the same lovely curves as Sonic's original Cyclops eyes. Yes, I do think the blue arms are really annoying, but his new shoes, that he doesn't actually wear until the end of the movie, are actually kinda cool. Sometimes he looks alright, especially from behind when he's far away from the camera, but he often just looks really ugly. Is he wearing makeup or something? Like, why does he have such strong black outlines around his eyes with prominent eyelashes? Do you want to know why he looks so good in this specific shot? It's because he most closely matches his original design thanks to the pose and camera angle. His brows come down, which hides the square-shaped eyes and makes the gap between them less noticeable. His middle mouth is less obvious because the smile is slightly favoring the screen-facing side of his muzzle, similar to what we normally see with Sonic's side mouth. I have a similar problem with Tails. I really hope they fix him up a bit in the sequel. He looks pretty good from the front, but from the side? Yuck. Muppet mouth, weirdly shaped eyes, and he might be just a bit too fuzzy. Again, his eyes seem a little too square-shaped compared to his original design with much taller, rounder eyes. I appreciate his golden orangey fur instead of the pure yellow he's been getting in the 3D games. For the most part, he's pretty good. I just wish we didn't have to needlessly change character designs that were already fine as they were. Hoping Jim Carrey is just full-on Eggman in the next one. Anyway, I could go on, but everyone's talked about the designs already. How about, the actual movie? The one thing everyone forgot to keep in consideration when getting excited that Sonic was being redesigned. The Sonic movie is both a little better and a little worse than I was expecting it to be. And yes, I stuck to my word and didn't see it in the cinemas or support it financially whatsoever. Unlike most Sonic fans, I don't blindly throw money at anything with the blue dork's face on it, and I can normally tell pretty early on when something is going to suck. I also didn't go around telling people that they had to see the movie because they fixed the design, because I'm not a moron who feels compelled to support big corporations for doing the absolute bare minimum. Or, in this case, even less. Oh, but you should be grateful for what they gave you. No, I shouldn't be grateful that a rich company failed to sell me a product that I never asked for. Please learn to be critical and stop accepting mediocrity, especially from commercial products designed to make you spend money. To be honest, if not for me making this video and the recent talk of the sequel coming in around a year's time, I would have almost forgotten the Sonic movie came out at all, and I wouldn't have watched it since it first released. This is a mostly harmless and mostly boring film that ended when I thought it still had an hour left on my first viewing. So let's discuss some positives first.
Now you've done it!
Guess what, Eggman? I'm not leaving Earth. You are!
Ben Schwartz is great as Sonic. I'd prefer if he put on more of a cartoony, higher-pitched voice in future, but I will gladly take him as the new Sonic, especially compared to the competition. More on that later. The opening credits are kind of great. It's weirdly validating to hear an orchestrated rendition of the SEGA title call, along with the theme of Green Hill Zone. It's also great to hear Jon Batiste's piano rendition of the same theme at the end of the film. If you're not familiar with him, he's a jazz musician and a huge fan of game score, and frequently plays big band covers from his favorite games on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. He's done Final Fantasy, Street Fighter, and yes, Sonic the Hedgehog. Wish the movie had a better musical score, more fitting of the style established in the games, and just more game material in general. It's nice to see the echidnas. Was not expecting that at all. The turtle scene is actually pretty cute. Tom is a likable enough guy, but too bad he's a cop. Sonic says a cab.
Sheesh, there always seems to be a lot of police around when you don't need them.
I like this cool 5-second bit where Sonic skates on these disc things. The part where the little girl gives Sonic his new shoes is the only time in the entire movie that I felt something emotionally. I can't deny that it's really cute, even though it is super basic and manipulative. Jim Carrey and his sidekick have some pretty bad lines, but his overall performance and charisma with Eggman, especially by the end of the movie, is great.
Welcome to San Francisco, Mr. Wachowski. Are you enjoying the clam chowder?
Him and Sonic have only just met, they haven't formed a proper rivalry yet, so he's playing up his smug confidence and intellectual superiority instead of pure anger and back and forth quips like we normally see in the games and comics.
Your flying eggs are pretty impressive, Mr. Eggman, but let's face it, you'll never catch me.
Confidence. A fool's substitute for intelligence.
This shot of Sonic reflected in his goggles is nice. The credit sequence is neat, but the sprites and sound effects are inconsistent and don't match Sonic's 16-bit source material, often using weird 8-bit arcade noises, accompanied by a terrible rap song. Seriously, who thinks of Sonic music and immediately goes, ah yes, contemporary rap? Yeah, so that's mostly it for the positives. I mean, the slow motion stuff is neat, Eggman's post-credit scene gives me hope for the sequel, but the movie's just really lame. This doesn't feel like a Sonic the Hedgehog movie to me. It feels like a cross between a dumb kids movie and some generic superhero action film, with Sonic trapped in between. I think his performance is the best part of the movie, no doubt, but this still doesn't really feel like Sonic to me. And in some ways, that's alright. It's clear that making Sonic more childish was intentional, so that we can see him grow in the sequels. That's fine, but I'm not holding off on my criticism for this film because I assume the next one will somehow make things better. Sonic has weird electric powers now? Okay then. We're going with awkward Sonic X logic where we call him a hedgehog even though he's an alien interacting with photorealistic humans? Alright then. Sonic farts and flosses twice? Great. Sonic is in the movie. Fantastic. Sonic becomes a pop culture reference spouting Redditor instead of just being a cool guy?
Yes, Keanu! You are a national treasure.
Can't wait for the next one where he mentions Rick and Morty and the Avengers. He's not the only one though. This movie is full of tonally out of place references that just feel really awkward. Like, I want you to imagine Sonic the Hedgehog, the cartoony video game series from the 90s, and then listen to lines like this.
She was basically Obi-Wan Kenobi, if Obi-Wan Kenobi had a beak and ate mice.
No, wait, I'm actually on a yacht in Barbados with Rihanna.
OMG. That's amazing. Please send pics.
Tom, we need you down on Main Street. There's been a violent gang shootout.
Apartments for rent I found on Zillow.
Remember the coup in Pakistan?
No.
Or the uprising in Azerbaijanistan?
It's not even a country.
Exactly. And you can thank Robotnik for that.
The doctor thinks you're basic.
Tell him to stop or I'll pull up his search history.
Have you finished Charlotte's Web yet? Spoiler alert. She dies in the end.
Look what came out of my egg sac.
This blackout was not a terrorist attack.
No, but she did tell me to check your phone for dating apps.
The only apps on my phone are the ones that came with it.
In the Olive Garden.
Ah, because when you're there.
Your family. Not in the mood to get probed.
You think you're worried? I'm not even wearing pants.
I was spitting out formulas while you were still spitting up formula.
I was breastfed, actually.
Nice. Rub that in my orphan face.
Can you believe Amazon is gonna deliver packages with these things?
And the doctor's gonna tell me that my colonoscopy was a big success, okay? So it's a payphone. It's mostly for drug dealers and fugitives from the law, which is us.
Kind of reminded me of the guys from Men in Black, but not as likable or charming as Will Smith. Questions about terrorism?
Hey everyone, welcome back to my live stream.
I put it in cruise control.
I feel just like Vin Diesel. It's all about family, Tom. Gotta go fast. Where am I? What year is it? Is The Rock president? And please, 5 stars.
We got a jumper on the roof. Gotta get up there fast or we're gonna have a human pancake on our hands.
Do you have your child in that bag?
No. I mean, yes, it's a child, but it's not mine.
Did someone leave their Find My Phone on?
Nice of you to swing by on your way to Comic-Con.
Who the hell do you think you are?
I'm the donut lord, you son of a...
Jojo, put on my Fitbit. I can at least get some steps.
You only find crap like this funny if your media diet consists of nothing but Marvel movies and SpongeBob memes. You probably also buy Funko Pops. One part that really struck me as odd is how Sonic acts like a jerk towards Tom when he wants to move and get a better job, and the movie basically says that Sonic was in the right? Tom doesn't get his new job, he comes back to Green Hills and adopts Sonic as his own. It seemed like Tom really wanted that new job, his wife had family living in the area already, so I don't see what was wrong with him wanting to move. Why is Sonic such a stick in the mud in this movie? In the super rushed opening scene with forgettable character Longclaw, it seems like Sonic loves to run around and explore his island, even if, granted, it's not very big. Longclaw tells him to
Never stop running.
Why would Sonic get to a small town on Earth and just stay there forever? What happened to his free spirit, his energy, his love for exploration and adventure? I really like the scene where him and Eggman are racing across the planet. I wish there was more of that. If you're going to set Sonic on Earth, why would you lock him in a small town? I know he's meant to be more of a scared kid at first, and sure, he could make Green Hills his home, so why doesn't he just explore for the day and then come back later? It's very contrived and seems to exist only to justify pairing him up with a human sidekick and forcing them to sit in a car for most of the movie, instead of him just following the signage on the highway and running to San Francisco in a few seconds. Sonic is also trying to prevent the wrong people from getting a hold of his power, and I really don't like this either. The electricity stuff is dumb. It only really exists to contrive a reason for the government to catch on to Sonic's existence, and so Eggman can match Sonic's speed. Now I do think that's a cool idea, but why does it have to be with this gross butthole hair stuff? Okay, rapid fire, just a few other points. I know this is a dumb kids movie, but I'm not giving it a pass because of that. This isn't some CinemaSins bit, I'm not here complaining about plot holes, just issues that I have with the movie in general. Lazy exposition.
Thomas Michael Wachowski. What did you do the entire time I was in veterinary school?
Hey, remember this time you did this specific thing? Yeah, and then I did this and this and this other thing, so now you know my awesome backstory. Isn't that convenient? This isn't organic writing, it's just kinda lame, dude.
Babe, are you sure you're okay with this?
Sonic runs in a circle for no reason so that the conflict can begin, and probably killed thousands of people in hospital. I know he's upset, but why is he just doing laps around the baseball field? I don't get this. Eggman's robots are boring. They seem to be called badniks even though they're not animal powered, but whatever, that's fine. His Eggmobile jet thing is pretty great though, wish it was a bit more colourful. This scene with the bomb on Sonic's hand made a lot more sense when the original design didn't have gloves. Jim Carrey does a funny dance. Because funny? What does this scene add to the movie? Why is Sonic driving the car here? This feels like a leftover from a deleted scene. Domestic conflict in a Sonic movie. Police officer fires a real, actual gun at Eggman in a Sonic movie. Sonic feet. Alright, I'm leaving it there. I don't like this movie at all, and I think the only reason most people enjoyed it is because it just wasn't as bad as they expected. It's not terrible, but it sure as hell ain't good. I just wish it was more faithful to the games in terms of lore and tone, but was given the freedom to try new things and tell new stories. Speaking of which, I've got some loose ideas for the sequel that I've had kicking around for a little while. We know that Tails will be in it, and it seems likely that Knuckles will be too. So with that in mind, I want to see something like this. Okay, so, movie opens. Eggman is still stuck on the Mushroom Planet, but it's not Mushroom Hill Zone from Angel Island back on Sonic's world, we make that pretty clear. He's still got a hold of Sonic's butthole hair for power, which he uses to build his own teleporter. What he doesn't realize is that Sonic's weird electric power is actually raw chaos energy, and by using it, the teleporter didn't send him back to Earth, but instead to the source of all chaos energy, the Master Emerald Shrine back on Angel Island. You see where I'm going with this? Eggman arrives on Angel Island, which, yes, is on Sonic's planet. Maybe he even sees Mushroom Hill Zone nearby and gets confused, worried that he's still back on the Mushroom World. Then our boy Knuckles emerges. He's never seen a human before, let alone a living sentient being for years, and explains to Eggman that he's the last echidna left, after they were all wiped out by perfect chaos. He was sealed back into the Master Emerald, but his eternal rage is making the gem's energy unstable, worrying Knuckles about its ability to power his island's floating abilities. Knuckles then explains that his race was trying to capture someone whose power they could have used to save their world and stop perfect chaos in the first place. A certain blue hedgehog with incredible speed and a natural ability to wield chaos energy. Eggman raises his eyebrows, intrigued. Knuckles shows him the mural in Angel Island, depicting Super Sonic coming after the Master Emerald. Because Sonic left his planet and went to Earth at such a young age, he wasn't there to save his world and its people from perfect chaos. Knuckles swears revenge on the blue hedgehog, if he ever was to return. Eggman grins and places his hand on Knuckles' shoulder. Later, on Earth, Tails has just arrived on his search for Sonic. He's only ever heard the legends of Sonic's speed from when he was young, before he mysteriously disappeared and Perfect Chaos was released. Tails is younger than Sonic, and has never known what life was like before the attack, and the loss of the Echidna clans. Eggman has been active on Sonic's world for about a few months at this point, building machines and robots, maybe even the Death Egg, slowly building a new empire and searching for the missing Chaos Emeralds. Knuckles is unaware that his machines are powered by animals, and that Eggman is draining his island's natural resources. Tails' mission is to find Sonic, bring him back to his home planet, and stop Eggman from taking over and unleashing chaos once more. Or building the Death Egg or something, I don't know. We spend maybe 10 minutes on Earth, max, and then we never see it again once we're back on Sonic's world. If we need another excuse to create conflict between Sonic and Knuckles, we could throw in something about the Echidnas wiping out the Owls, since they attacked Longclaw and all that junk. So yeah, I basically want them to use what they've already set up in the first movie and go from there to form some kind of Sonic 3 and Knuckles adaptation. I think a core part of Knuckles' character and backstory is his gullible nature, at least in the beginning. He's an orphan who has had very little social interaction his entire life, so it makes sense for Eggman to trick him so easily, especially when he has proof of his connection to Sonic thanks to the electric butthole hair he used as a power source. This gives Knuckles a really simple arc to follow, with him eventually becoming friends with Sonic and Tails. Our final showdown would be between Super Sonic, Eggman, and Perfect Chaos, or the Death Egg. There's a lot of possibilities here. I think it's unlikely we'd see Super Tails and Super Knuckles in these movies, and it probably works better to just leave it as Super Sonic this one time, since it's the first time any of these characters have even seen a super form. So, to wrap on the movie, I don't like it, but I really hope the sequel is better. The overall reception among the fanbase and general audience seemed quite positive, at least compared to other video game movies, but critically it skewed more to mediocrity, which, hey, I agree with. I gave the movie a 2 out of 5 on Letterboxd after all. I actually think this review summary from Rebecca Harrison on Rotten Tomatoes sums up my feelings almost perfectly. A tedious and entirely predictable film that, in spite of its supersonic hedgehog lead, manages to feel dull and slow. A wasted Jim Carrey fails to save a movie in which none of the characters inspires any sympathy. I also think this line from Candace McMillan rings true. Sonic is a surprisingly fully realized character trapped in a two-dimensional film. In terms of boosting the Sonic brand with a huge feature film, I guess this wasn't the worst possible way they could have done it, because at least Sonic himself is a mostly likable character. But they were doomed from the very beginning when they said this would be a live-action film. I don't really expect this movie to affect much of the game side of the franchise. At most, we might see a few cameo appearances or Easter eggs like in the mobile games, but I don't think the main series will suddenly be about Sonic doing nothing in a small town and helping cops. Even though I hope the sequels have more in common with the games, I still think they're going to be a pretty different take on Sonic, far removed from any actual game canon or tie-ins and stuff. I don't expect SEGA to ever do a Sonic movie The Game at any point either, but it was a rather odd marketing decision to have literally no new Sonic games at the time the movie came out. I think the sequel has a chance to win more people over, myself included, if it gives us what we actually want from a Sonic film, and then we can just forget that the first one ever even happened. More game-focused, better music and cartoonier character designs, no humans other than Eggman, no annoying celebrities to voice Tails and Knuckles, and a better script with no more pop culture references. Speaking of better scripts... The Sonic comic books have been the only reliable source of high-quality official Sonic storytelling ever since Ian Flynn took over the Archie book back in the day. Beginning a brand new story in 2018, separate from the now defunct Archie canon, the IDW Sonic comic book has released almost 40 main issues with multiple spin-offs, becoming surprisingly successful in such a short time. I'm still behind on the overall story because I wait for the trades to drop instead of picking up each issue individually, or being a chump and reading them online instead of paying for them. Hey, look, I said earlier I won't blindly throw money at Sonic stuff to support big corporations, but in the rare case that something Sonic related is actually good, I gotta vote with my wallet, okay? I bought what, 4 copies of Sonic Mania? And I'll do it again. Cutting to the chase here, yeah, I love this book. Ian Flynn is a fantastic writer for Sonic, and Mega Man, it's a shame we lost that series too. And the artwork by series veterans and new faces is always a joy to behold. I'll be honest and say that while I loved the later Archie issues by Ian, the book still felt very bogged down by comic-exclusive material and decades-old continuity, at least before the reboot. There were so many characters I just did not care about whatsoever. I have never liked the Freedom Fighters, gonna be honest with you. SatAM does nothing for me. I don't think any of the currently released Sonic TV shows are good at all. Adventures is funny, but it sure ain't Sonic. So hey, in IDW, there's no more of that crap. No more Freedom Fighters, no more romance, no more weird alternate dimensions, no more nonsense. We still have original characters made just for the book, but they fit organically into the game material, and it all just works. SEGA is way stricter with this new series, creating a bit of a monkey's paw scenario. No more Archie nonsense, but now we deal with SEGA's nonsense. We all know the poster boy of these limitations is Shadow, a character whose personality has been totally destroyed thanks to SEGA's current direction. He was wonderful in Archie, but here? Yeah, he's an actual moron who only cares about himself and has no friends. On the flip side, the new take on Silver is fantastic. No more edgy, super serious idiot trying to kill people, now he's a goofy, lovable dork who smiles around his friends and just wants to help people. He even has this adorable side story with Blaze where she teaches him how to make his own garden. It's such a great change of pace. But this is the scariest part. This reflects game canon and character dynamics. While the book is in its own split timeline from the games, there hasn't been a mainline Sonic game since this book started. Will the future Sonic Team games be following the same rules set for the book? Does this mean that Shadow will still be a huge idiot in the games too? We really have no idea. SEGA changes their minds on things like this all the time. One day, classic Sonic was just a younger version of Sonic. Next, he's treated as someone from a different dimension, and the classic era is not even allowed to be mentioned whatsoever in the book, with Sonic Adventure being the earliest known entry in the timeline, which makes no sense whatsoever. Apparently there's always been two different worlds, a human world and an animal world, instead of just one simple cohesive world that blends stylized wacky zones with stylized human cities. You know, like how it's always been. Since the 90s. In the Japanese canon, Sonic was always on Earth, obviously a stylized version of Earth, but Eggman's a human being for God's sake. I hate this Sonic Forces furry world stuff, like I don't mind seeing more animal characters, but now there's just huge cities run entirely by animals and we just have to ignore what's been established from the games like Adventure and Unleashed? Where are all the humans? I know I complained about the use of Earth in the Sonic movie, but that's in a live-action setting, where CG Sonic is rubbing elbows with real actors. That's just dumb. In the original canon, I have absolutely no problem at all with Sonic being on Earth. He's a hedgehog for crying out loud. I agree hardcore with Ian's ideas of unifying the Sonic series if he was given full control. No more different timelines, dimensions, planets, anything. Just all the characters in the same world at the same time with the same rules. Let all the toys play together. Anyway, yeah, the book. Yeah, it's really good. It's just so, I don't know, cathartic, rewarding, relieving to finally see all of my favorite characters, Shadow aside, represented with such love and care. I read this Sonic and it just feels like Sonic to me. I see all of his dynamic expressions and poses, and suddenly I'm reminded why I even like this guy. Unlike the games, he's a lovable, wisecracking hero who truly cares about saving everyone, showing compassion and selflessness towards complete strangers. At times, he can be quite mature and responsible, but he's not meant to be a leader, it would just tie him down. He's not a stupid, annoying jerk anymore. He's not high school jock Sonic. He's not boring, emotionless, blank slate Sonic. He's not embarrassingly melodramatic Sonic. He's not unfunny boom Sonic. He's not love triangle Sonic. He's not married to Sally Acorn with kids in the future Sonic. He's just Sonic. What you see is what you get. A free spirit who fights for what he believes in no matter what. And it feels amazing to be able to say that about him again. I'm going to discuss some of my favorite moments throughout the book so far, along with some mild criticisms, so if you'd like to avoid a few spoilers, skip to this point in the video. This little moment right here, ever since I first read it, is one of my all-time favorite character moments for Sonic. It helps that this issue is full of amazing panels already, thanks to incredible artists Evan Stanley and Matt Herms, and the introduction of newcomer Tangle the Lemur and returning favorite of mine, Blaze the Cat. After a big fight, teaming up with friends new and old and several other big battles from the previous issues, Sonic needs a moment to relax.
Phew, after all that, I need a breather.
We get this one simple panel, just of Sonic smiling to himself. This is a comic book, so the reader controls the pace and can hold on this panel, this page, for as long as they want, and take a breather with him. What is he thinking about? His friends? His goals? His love for the very planet that he runs across every day? Whatever it is, the moment isn't meant to last very long, as Sonic immediately follows up with an excited,
"That'll do,"
and races off to his next adventure. I love this. I genuinely think this is actually peak Sonic personality. He's the fastest thing alive, but sometimes it's nice to slow down and relax, even if just for a brief moment. Having Eggman lose his memory, only for a little while, and assuming the role of Mr. Tinker was wonderful. The ethical debate between Sonic and Shadow is good stuff, with Shadow believing Eggman should never be forgiven for his crimes, while Sonic asks why they shouldn't treat Shadow the same way, considering what he did in Adventure 2. This stuff is simple, it's not masterclass deep drama, but it's just the right amount of thought and heart for a Sonic story. I particularly love how some very small elements of Mr. Tinker's personality are still alive within Eggman. Maybe they were always a part of him. Somewhere deep down, he does want to make people happy and do the right thing, but his greed, ego, and narrow-mindedness will always be his downfall. Dr. Starline is a fun new villain. It's refreshing to see a sidekick of Eggman be so gleefully in awe of him, and then slowly realize how flawed the Doctor really is. I didn't realize he was meant to be a platypus until one of Ian Flynn's podcasts, so now we have both monotremes represented in Sonic's world. Australian animals are cool. Rough and Tumble, on the other hand, they're fine, but I don't find them very interesting. Dude, Neo Metal Sonic comes back and we get a showdown on top of Angel Island? This is pure rule of cool, but yeah, this rocks. Metal Sonic in general has some really fantastic characterization over time throughout the book. Sonic and Tails really try to let him go free, maybe even be friends with them, but he disrespectfully declines. Sonic expresses his frustration later.
You know, in a way, Eggman didn't get a chance to stay reformed. Starline put him back on that path. But you just had to go back to him, didn't you? You couldn't be like Gemerl or Omega. You just had to be a one-note jerk.
In a side story during the Metal Virus, we get to see him wrestle with his link to Sonic, being a robot built purely as a derivative copy of the real thing. After seeing Sonic infected with the Metal Virus, Metal Sonic sticks his finger into the substance himself. It comes right off, like water, and immediately without a single spoken word, we can feel how impactful this is for him. This is his strength over Sonic's weakness. This is what makes him different. Or, alternatively, you could interpret this as Metal Sonic's realization that he truly isn't the real Sonic. The real one is covered in Metal Virus and has to keep running it off, but Metal is entirely immune. If he was the real Sonic, shouldn't the virus affect him too? Great stuff. Gemerl is back? We're allowed to acknowledge Sonic Battle and the advanced games? This is the kind of stuff I want to see. Expansion of the ideas and continuity already established from the game timeline that is so often neglected and forgotten. Sonic is the first to be infected with the Metal Virus, having to burn it off with his speed, slowly tiring him out and forcing him to almost never sleep. Perfect drama for a zombie apocalypse story. It's also a great excuse for Sonic to be able to attack the Zombots with his body, since he's already infected. He's simultaneously the most useful character during the outbreak, and also the most dangerous, in case he infects one of his friends. Eggman even tries to get into Sonic's head later, questioning if all of his running to hold off the virus actually spread it faster across the world. Excellent drama. Watching Vector sacrifice himself so casually, knowing exactly what he was doing to stop the infected Zombot Charmy from getting on board the escape vessel, and watching Espio remain as the last surviving member of the Chaotix actually legitimately hurt to read. I'm not saying that I cried or anything, but dude, it's such a good but weird feeling to be reading official Sonic material and actually respond to it in ways other than annoyance or contempt. I am shocked that SEGA gave Ian the green light for this entire arc. I never thought Cream the goddamn rabbit would be the true hero in the end, but she's amazing here. She has such a pure, pacifist outlook on everything and will stop at nothing to prevent additional conflict. And oh boy does Ian know this and use it against me. There's a lot of gut punches with her during the Metal Virus. I mean, Xena kicks her while she's down and basically tries to feed her to the Zombots. That's just sick. Gemerl comes in and throws her back into the swarm, but it's too late. Cream already got infected. Okay, yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, this actually did make me tear up. This is actually sad. Earlier, she stands in front of newcomer Whisper to stop her from shooting Eggman on sight, crying at the thought of how she's lost her mother and her Chow to the virus. I think the panel of Whisper taking off her mask and crying is a bit much, but these moments feel genuine to me. And it's just really sweet to see Sonic care for Cream like a little sister, watching her grow and get better at protecting herself and her family. I love being able to actually like these characters again. Knuckles going full-on sicko mode and just accepting that he's gonna get infected with the metal virus by punching Zombot Shadow in the face. Oh my god, dude, that's actually perfect. This is the one time Tails is allowed to be cowering in fear. He has literally just witnessed all of his friends turn into zombies. The stakes have never been higher. Sonic, Silver, and Metal Sonic all teaming up to throw the virus into the sun? That's hype. And I don't like using that word. With the Metal Virus saga specifically, I know a lot of fans felt it went on for far too long, and sure, if I was waiting for a new issue of this every month, I probably would have felt the same. But honestly, I felt there was room for a little bit more. The climax mounts the tension way up, but it ends far too quickly. This is a general problem with the short, issue-based format of a monthly comic book. There's just not enough pages to go as in-depth as you might like. It's the same reason why a lot of issues begin with some slightly awkward dialogue giving exposition as to what's going on from last time, and often end with some kind of cliffhanger. It's never awful, but it can feel a little bit forced, and sometimes make me wish it was a full graphic novel instead, so we could avoid having to treat each part of the story as potentially being someone's first time reading it. Thankfully, Omega continues to be consistently funny. Love this guy. I don't care about the game, but it's cool to see Tangle and Whisper make it into Sonic Force's speed battle on mobile. That's the first time a comic-exclusive character has ever received such representation. It's great in general to see the collaboration between IDW and SEGA. I hope it continues to grow and allows the comics to be a bigger part of Sonic's overall identity. Don't expect the comic stories to ever be canon to the games though, that's never gonna happen. So yeah, the new Sonic comic? It rocks. If we're talking Sonic in 2021, it's hard to find much better than this right now. It's basically the total opposite of the Sonic movie. I can't recommend this enough to fans new and old alike, no matter what age group. But what other Sonic stories are there to look forward to? Honestly, I really don't have much to say about Sonic Prime, the new 3D animated Netflix series coming in 2022. It's being made by Man of Action, which is a little funny to me since I was actually pretty obsessed with Ben 10 when I was a kid, before I really got into Sonic. You'll notice I've talked a lot more about the things that have actually released and aren't just random speculation, because that's not what this video is about. I remember reading the synopsis of Sonic Prime out loud to my brother when the news dropped, and suddenly stopping in my tracks when I laid eyes upon the phrase, "Strange New Multiverse." That stuff almost sent shivers down my spine. The Sonic series is fractured enough as it is, with so many different universes and versions of the character, that hearing this really does worry me a bit. If it's just an excuse for weird new imagery and characters, then sure, that's fine with me. But I don't really want to see all the different versions of Sonic coming back for an episode each, or something along those lines. Just give me a new, original Sonic cartoon that feels game appropriate, like the IDW book. It sounds like this show might actually be canon to the game timeline, which, if so, is interesting, but I doubt anything in the show itself will affect the games at all. It'll likely be its own thing that happened in the timeline, but is never mentioned in the games, since they hardly have continuity in the first place. I hope it looks better than some of the other 3D Netflix original cartoons that I have seen, which is basically just Camp Cretaceous, which was bad, and the first season of the Transformers show, which was also bad. I don't just mean the animation and rendering, but the writing and voice acting as well. Why is Optimus Prime voiced by some dude from Vine?
Autobots, assemble!
Since Sonic Boom was the last time Sonic had a TV show, I'm praying it doesn't influence Prime because I can't stand Boom at all. So glad it's officially dead now. Sonic desperately needs to get away from the stupid meta-humor references and have a show that feels like a real adventure, not a cringy sitcom. I don't know, man. I hope the show is good and that I'm not in pain listening to Sonic talk. Speaking of... So I'm sitting down one night, I've just finished Half-Life 2 Episode 2 again. I'm watching the credits thinking, damn, what a sad ending. And just, kind of feeling introspective and melancholic. Then, I see something. A very important tweet from a very important person. Roger Craig Smith, the voice of Sonic for the past decade, ever since that embarrassing performance in Sonic's room at Alton Towers, was finally, for whatever reason, no longer the voice of the character. I don't think I have ever had such an emotional 180 in my life. I felt like jumping out of my seat, my heart was pounding with excitement, and I was grinning like a madman.
We have very important news right now. We have incredibly important news. You have no idea how happy I am. Guess what just happened? Something to do with a certain blue hedgehog. The best possible news that could have ever happened. What's the one... No, what's the one problem with Sonic? The one universal problem for the past, like, 20 years. Roger Craig Smith is not voicing Sonic anymore! I don't know, but it's not Roger. He's not doing it anymore.
Alright, I know that probably sounds really mean. Like, come on, dude, what did Roger ever do to you? Look, nothing personal against the guy at all, but I absolutely cannot stand his Sonic voice. I have despised it ever since the first cutscene of Sonic Colors was revealed. He comes off like an old man trying to play the high school jock, and he sounds like he's constantly straining his voice, or like he's trying to pass a kidney stone.
I'm supposed to be the fastest, but I was too slow to save my buddy.
It doesn't help that most of his other roles in cartoons sound exactly the same as his Sonic voice.
Oh look, it's Mr. and Mrs. Negative Points. Guess we'll have to beat you two losers again. Some dude named GBF, but it's not just the high score, it's the world record.
You got bamboozled. You better not come back to haunt me.
But fear not, I'm here to avenge you.
Dude, feel the sting of my Valiantium blade.
High-end fashion buyer Lauren is having a rough time finding her dress. Introducing Pizza Hut's new ultimate stuffed crust pizza.
I also think he actually got worse over time, unlike Jason, who at least sounded a bit better in Unleashed and Black Knight. Do these clips from Alton Towers really sound that much different to his recent voice delivery for Sonic?
Don't forget to come and get whizzing with me, Sonic, on my fantastic spinball adventure! Whee-hee-hee! Hold on tight, everyone! Woohoo! Happy Halloween, everyone! Welcome to my room, kids!
If anything, he's putting on more of a higher-pitched, younger-sounding voice back here. And yes, the scripts have been bad too, but that's not the point. The adventure games had some pretty wonky dialogue too, but the voices sounded good.
Man, no one ever cuts us any slack.
Roger has bad dialogue and a bad Sonic voice. On his own, he seems like a cool enough guy with tons of other work from other projects. He doesn't need Sonic. And Sonic certainly doesn't need him. For some reason, people treated the news of his departure like the dude was dead or something. Everyone coming out to worship him like some fallen hero, begging everyone on social media to thank him or appreciate what he had done. Like, guys, he did his job, and he'll continue to do so for other roles. It originally seemed like he was replaced against his will, but he's more recently claimed that it was actually his decision. Personally, I feel like there was a recast and he simply decided not to re-audition. But anyway, let's not forget that this same thing happened to Ryan Drummond and Jason Griffith before him. Roger only ever got to be Sonic in the first place because Jason was recast, and Jason was Sonic because Ryan was recast, despite still wanting to be Sonic. Sure, it sucks if you're a fan of Roger, but please remember he's not the first to go through this, and that those before him deserved better too. Following on from this news, we've slowly heard more actors confirm they are no longer coming back. The only confirmed returning actor so far is... Mike Pollock. Okay, now this is different. Mike Pollock's Eggman is fine, but the dude himself? Do you even read what he says to people on Twitter? Or do you just like that the voice actor of a Sonic character is responding to you? God forbid you say anything bad about this guy online, because a bunch of nerds will come after you for daring to criticize the voice of Dr. Eggman. If you're lucky, the voice of Dr. Eggman will get mad at you too. I'm doing a detour here. Let's go through some examples of unprofessional behavior that he's exhibited for years, because honestly, I'm really sick of everyone enabling him. This isn't a personal attack against the guy. I'm not trying to cancel him. I just want to record some very questionable things that he said to raise a bit of awareness. Feel free to pause the video to read the tweets for yourself, but I will be censoring most usernames just out of respect. In a tweet remembering the passing of previous Dr. Eggman voice actor Dean Bristow, Mike Pollock chimes in to remind everyone that he was voicing Eggman beforehand in Sonic X. While you could argue he was trying to correct any misconceptions that he was Eggman because of Bristow's passing, stating that he actually began beforehand in the TV show, there is a time and a place for such comments, and phrasing is very important. This reads as if he feels the need to make the death of a previous Eggman voice about himself, rather than simply not saying anything. His response when this was brought up to him? I'm just spitting straight facts. Very mature. Also, common trend here that you might notice, was he tagged in this tweet? No. You may also notice most conversations of his relate back to money or blatant self-promotion. A few years back, in a tweet appreciating the Eggman voice of another Sonic fan, Mike Pollock shows up to say, "Sad. I'd prefer to think people imagine my Eggman voice, but that's just me." When someone mentioned that this was kind of egotistical of him, he responded, "Not when my name's in the credits." Again, he was not tagged and no one mentioned his name. This was a tweet about Eggman, the character, that Mike Pollock does not own. I even replied to the thread myself to explain why everyone was upset with him. And sure, he eventually apologized for the supposed misunderstanding, but then he did it again. An artist made their own storyboards of classic Eggman with Tom Kenny's voice, as a hypothetical new take on the character. Without being tagged, Mike Pollock shows up to offer his input. This went on for a while, with him leaping to such conclusions that material like this is a threat to putting food on the table for his wife and children. Keep in mind that this is a fan-made piece from a 17-year-old. He claimed that said artist called off the dogs when they never attacked him in the first place. Rather, he showed up to start trouble. Pollock's defense against all of this is that he's simply playing things up for his online persona, and that if you knew all of his friends in person, they always talk about just how great of a guy he is. If you have a problem with him, he can't apologize for it, because apparently that's just how he is. He's just being his typical, dry, sarcastic, tongue-in-cheek self, and you guys just don't understand how funny he is. Any perceived dickishness was inferred, never implied, so apparently it's your fault you think he's being rude, not his. After all, he's just spitting facts. He often offers up some quote about how everyone is entitled to their own opinions, but not their own facts. Does this logic sound familiar at all to you? Telling people they're wrong for being offended by your unprofessional and rude behavior, dodging accountability by claiming that they just don't get the joke, and then saying that facts don't care about your feelings? This is the same logic as Republican morons like Ben Shapiro who make excuses for their hateful, disgusting beliefs. I'm not saying that I think Pollock is a conservative or has any of those beliefs, just that his social behavior is incredibly similar to these people, and it's quite worrying. If it's all part of his silly online persona and doesn't reflect his real-world self, then why does he do it? Why intentionally act like a huge asshole on Twitter and then claim that you can't apologize for being yourself? Is it a joke, or is it just you? Why is it okay for you to claim everything you say is a joke, but when other people use that excuse, you think it's a bad thing? After the artist reached out to him asking for a private conversation to resolve the conflict, he did eventually make a tweet apologizing for the fiasco, claiming that it wouldn't happen again. Considering his recent behavior hasn't changed that much, I honestly don't believe him. This interaction was very recent, meaning his attitude hasn't changed much at all over the past few years, but here's hoping? Again, a 17-year-old, legally still a child, had to ask Mike Pollock, professional voice actor of Dr. Eggman, to open his DM so they could stop him from being an asshole and enabling the same behavior from others. In this interaction, Pollock implies that if you don't prefer his Eggman voice and like someone else's instead, it's purely because they were part of your childhood. Never mind the fact that Pollock has voiced Eggman since 2003, about 18 years now, meaning that most Sonic fans are familiar with him and only him as Eggman. Now let's look at this tweet where someone says Pollock was their childhood. Let's check the likes. Yep, there he is. Your voice was a huge part of my childhood. Yep, he liked that one too. You made my childhood awesome, and there he is. Made my childhood, there he is again. Modern Eggman will always be in my yep, he's here too. Thank you for making my there he is again. Sonic X was my and again. There's nothing wrong with being nice to these fans on Twitter, but if you prefer a different actor's portrayal of the character, he will show up to tell you that it upsets him. After news of Roger's departure from Sonic, Pollock deliberately tried to stir up Sonic fans by posting vague tweets, with many fans asking if he was still the voice of Eggman. Pollock didn't want to answer, which is fair enough on its own, but instead of simply saying nothing like most other professional actors would and have been, and waiting for a chance to confirm it later, he continued to try and rile people up and speculate, and then get annoyed at them for speculating. He was deliberately baiting his followers who, let's be honest, are mostly quite young and therefore not very intelligent. When somebody asked him why he would intentionally toy with his audience, he claimed it wasn't people's business to know about the recast, and that he was just being his usual snarky self. Unfortunately, this user has since deleted the tweets due to extreme toxicity from others, which Pollock encouraged by liking tweets that were in his favor, even though they were being incredibly rude towards the other user. Again, this is a situation of Mike Pollock directly engaging and enabling toxic, harassing behavior towards other people because something to do with his Eggman voice. Finally, just in general, you've probably noticed how Pollock just appears out of nowhere on threads that aren't even about him. It's because he routinely searches for himself and anything related to Dr. Eggman. He used to deny this, but now he refers to it as social listening, and claims it's something that all public people should do. Is this just normal for you guys? To casually mention someone or a character from a series online and then have the actor show up on their own and just start saying something? I don't know a single other person who does this. It's one thing to search for tweets about you and your most famous role, I somewhat understand that, but it's another thing to engage with every single one of them every single day. Scrolling through his Twitter account is a nightmare because he never stops tweeting. In the end, his egotistical, narcissistic, and toxic behavior should speak for itself. Like, come on guys, he has a several page-long document on rules to follow for even speaking to him on social media that he doesn't even follow. Mr. Pollock, if you don't want to engage with all these people while you're supposedly in the studio or enjoying dinner with your family, just stop, turn off the computer, this isn't your job. All you're doing is enabling their obsessive fan behavior and admitting that you have nothing better to do instead, and that you just want to feed off all of their attention. It's not their fault they're conversing with you during your dinner, it's your fault for responding to them at all. Let's circle back to what I asked earlier. Do you like Mike Pollock because of his hilarious, snarky online personality? Or do you like him because he's the voice of one of your favorite characters and he frequently responds to you on Twitter every single day? Really stop and think about that one. Do you like what he's saying to you? Or do you just like that he's saying anything at all? I want people to feel comfortable being critical and analyzing the things they love just as much, if not more, than the things they hate. If we never asked questions about these things and people that we admire, it's easy to wear rose-tinted glasses and ignore any obvious faults that should be addressed. I've made a conscious effort to present Pollock's original tweets with as much context and factual evidence as possible, while obviously still providing my interpretation and opinion of them. Why does the bar have to be so low? Just because someone isn't outwardly racist or sexist doesn't mean they can't still exhibit bad behavior, and we should be allowed to speak about it and expect better. Okay, back on topic. Let me list off my suggestions for a new Sonic voice cast. For Sonic, it's Ryan Drummond for me, as always.
Marriage? No way!
With the proper direction, he's still got it.
He's alright. He's doing well for himself and I'm happy for him. Kinda jealous, but also happy.
He was unfairly let go so many years ago and nearly came back more than once, but SEGA didn't want to pay him fairly. If we can't get Ryan, I will happily take Ben Schwartz from the movie, but I kinda doubt it. The movie will likely have its own terrible celebrity cast for Tails and Knuckles in the sequel, and I doubt SEGA wants to keep up with that. For Tails, it's Kate Higgins all the way.
Sorry you got stuck with a voice chip that looks like it was built by a 2-year-old.
Not that I disliked his previous voice, Colleen, I think, but Kate just sounds better to me. She got replaced after Lost World, but you might have heard her in a little game called Super Mario Odyssey recently.
Get ready for this song, let's do the Odyssey.
She's also a really good jazz singer and pianist, and she voiced Lady in Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition and Devil May Cry 5, I only found that out recently. For Knuckles, I'm open to someone new, but would like to hear Scott Dreer come back.
Ready for the junk pile.
Just no more Dan Green sound-alikes, please. Jennifer Dooleyard or someone similar for Amy, and a big yes for David Humphrey as Shadow. Love his voice.
Don't underestimate me, Doctor.
Honestly, Jason Griffith's Shadow ain't bad either. Would really like the sound of original Vector and Rouge as well, rather than the 4-Kid sound that we've had for the past 15 years. I'd say we could have kept Quentin Flynn as Silver, but that guy's kind of a weirdo and I have to pretend I forgot he voiced Raiden now. His replacement in Team Sonic Racing, Bryce Papenbrook, is fine too. Omega's current voice is alright, but I still prefer John St. John's performance in Heroes, and Erica Lindbeck as Blaze from TSR was cool, fine with her sticking around. I hope someone uses my voice actor preferences as a way to call me nostalgia blind for the adventure era when I don't even like those games very much, and I got into Sonic during the 4Kids era anyway. Not to mention, I think some of the newer performances from characters like Tails, Silver, and Blaze are better than their earlier incarnations. I don't really like the adventure era voice of Tails.
Eggman's robots are taking control of everything.
I just want good voice acting, thanks. It looks like the old writers are gone too, which is another huge victory. I don't want to get too optimistic, but a lot of the little changes we've heard here and there from SEGA could lead to something really cool. Over the past few years, there's been some serious restructuring going on with SEGA. Aaron Weber has moved up to SEGA of Japan as Director of Strategy, Studio, and Community Relations. Good on him, by the way, love that guy. Katie is the new face of the Sonic social media. South by Southwest was cancelled last year due to COVID, and we still have no idea what was meant to be shown there. It's unlikely we'll get another anniversary party this year, which makes me very sad. And apparently 2020 was meant to be the year of Sonic? Again? That turned out really well. Basically, there was meant to be Sonic news on the 20th day of every month, and instead all we got were these Japanese live streams with minor merch reveals and Jun Senoi sitting around looking confused. Again, I'm not going to speculate too much on this stuff, but this is an area where it actually was somewhat understandable for Sonic fans to feel a bit cheated out of some news. I mean, the lack of South by Southwest doesn't really mean that much. Those hour-long panels announce basically nothing anyway, but that on top of the Year of Sonic thing kinda hurt. I just want Aaron to make some real changes over at SEGA of Japan and pave the way for a better future not just for Sonic, but SEGA's other franchises too. Better communication would be nice. It's fine that we don't know what the new game is yet. The problem is that we don't know if Sonic Team has learnt from their mistakes, because we could just be in for another Sonic Forces situation. What about Christian Whitehead and the Mania team? What are they up to? We know that they formed a new studio, but who knows what they're working on. Poor Simon Tomley, aka Stealth, was working hard on an awesome new action platformer called Vertebreaker that was unfortunately cancelled due to a failed Kickstarter project. I was one of the backers, I was really looking forward to it actually. As much as SEGA are milking the Mania brand for merchandise, which is mostly a good thing right now since there hasn't been any good modern stuff for ages, I think they might actually be too stupid to do a bigger budget sequel. If we are getting a 3D game next, which is likely, it'd be nice if Christian could at least oversee it and have some involvement with the game design. Maybe it would be nice if the teams could all have a break from Sonic and do something else in the meantime. Also, my Angel Island Zone diorama fan art piece was shown on the Sonic social media in that big mosaic thing, so that was actually really cool. In short, we know change is coming. I have faith in Aaron, I just hope SEGA actually listens to him. But in terms of overall communication over the past year or two, yeah, Sonic's been really quiet, outside of the comic books and the movie, and a few SEGA live streams here and there. This is the last big thing that I want to talk about. The Sonic fan base, whatever that even means. I don't normally like grouping a large, diverse bunch of people together as Thing fans or the Thing fanbase, but we're talking about some real self-identified Sonic fans here. I know there hasn't been much new Sonic stuff to talk about recently, but have you guys ever considered that there are other things out there besides Sonic?
Is that the music?
Apparently not, because oh my god, the Sonic community over the past year, specifically those on Twitter, since that's where I see all this crap, collectively decided to let their brains rot. It was like living in a time loop. Every day was the same tweets. Sonic Unleashed is underrated. OMG guys, the ending of Sonic and the Black Knight. I bet you've never seen this one before. The opening cutscene to Sonic Unleashed is really good. Sonic Unleashed is a very good looking game. IGN is bad and I don't like their Sonic Unleashed review from 12 years ago. Classic Sonic is bad and overused, even though he only got one game of his own. Sonic 4 is good, actually. Sonic Boom is so funny and underrated, haha. It was so exhausting. Sonic fans were so desperate for attention that they resorted to scraping the bottom of the barrel for stupid junk to complain about or boring stuff to heap praise upon. If you're still mad over IGN's Sonic Unleashed review, that'd be like getting mad at someone for disliking Sonic 1 when Sonic Heroes just came out. Seriously, grow up. While I was editing this video, I started seeing people going out of their way to complain about the Sonic Generations review from IGN from 9 years ago. Do you guys really have nothing better to do? Guys, can we appreciate this oddly specific Sonic-related thing? No, but I'd appreciate it if you shut up. I don't even follow any of these annoying people, but Twitter is a dumb website and shows you this junk anyway. It's not even that I disagree with all of these points, I was just so sick to death of hearing them over and over. No, I don't think Sonic Unleashed is underrated. I think it understandably received a lot of valuable criticism. And if you have to constantly tweet about how underrated it is and keep getting thousands of likes, maybe it isn't as underrated as you think. I like Sonic's characterization in Black Knight, but god, I never want to hear about it ever again after last year. No, Sonic 4 is not a misunderstood hidden gem. People hated it for a reason. Sonic Boom is not a cleverly written show because it made a fourth wall break. Sonic fans sure love to go on about how Sonic is Sonic, no matter what style or design they go with, but then collectively get mad when classic Sonic is used in anything, even a fan game. It was an echo chamber of the same bland, hot takes over and over. Not only that, but it was impressive how many times Sonic fans agreed that some stupid, subtle detail or coincidence is apparently some masterfully constructed reference to something else. Sonic running forwards is not a reference. Sonic smiling is not a reference. Bayonetta 2 having the color blue is not a Sonic reference. This is a general issue with insular video game communities where people are so used to receiving their epic Reddit karma and applauding kind strangers for their funny and epic gaming references that we forget not everything is related to the things we like. Saying Dreamland is not a Kirby reference. Responding to a serious tweet from Mike Pollock about anti-Semitism with video game references is insanely childish and embarrassing. If this is you, if you are one of these people who acts this way, then you are lucky most of the world is still trapped in a horrible pandemic, because I'd be telling you to go outside. And this is coming from someone who also spends most of his time indoors. Do something else. Sonic is great. I love Sonic, and I imagine most of you watching right now do as well. But there is so much else out there to experience, even just in the realm of video games and other art forms. Having such a limited exposure to media can seriously harm your ability to analyze and appreciate art. How can we truly appreciate something if we don't have much to compare it to? If the only video game you ever played in your life was Sonic Forces, you probably wouldn't realize how terrible it was, or how varied and expressive video games as a medium can be. If the only movies you ever saw were Marvel and Star Wars, you wouldn't know just how much you're missing out on, and you'd probably think that people who like anything else are just snobby pseudo-intellectuals for daring to enjoy something other than billion-dollar franchise movies from Disney. You can probably tell I'm throwing in some personal experience here. I hate these movies, and people are always shocked to hear that from me. Why do you even like Sonic games? Do you really know? Could you explain it to me if you had to? Why do you like this Sonic game, but not this one? That's what my videos are all about, explaining in detail why I like and dislike certain elements of media, and it really helps me to discern what my tastes are. You don't need to like everything, that's not what this is about. You don't even need to try everything, but at least try something other than Sonic. Do you like Sonic for the platforming? Go play Mario, Donkey Kong Country, Crash Bandicoot, Mega Man, Castlevania, and Shovel Knight. I can't recommend Celeste enough. It's one of the best platformers I've ever played, combining together so many unique level design elements and player movement mechanics, and is filled with optional challenges that are super satisfying to complete. Do you like Sonic for the exploration and world? Go play Metroid, Hollow Knight, Ori, Dishonored, Prey, Resident Evil, Subnautica, and Outer Wilds. Oh my god, Outer Wilds is literally like the best game ever made. A sci-fi mystery adventure spanning a solar system with entirely player-driven non-linear progression. I actually wrote down pen and paper notes for this game, and honestly, if there's one thing you take away from this video, it's that you need to play Outer Wilds. It's all about knowledge and discovery, so don't look up anything, just play it. It'll be on Switch soon too. Do you like Sonic for its fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping action? Well, you know where this is going. Play Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, Metal Gear Rising, Titanfall 2, Doom Eternal, and Ultra Kill. In that game, you can do this, and this, or even maybe you want to do this. I think I spent around 8 hours in the free demo before the first chapter of the game had even been released. This game rocks. Do you see what I'm saying here though? I'm not acting like I've played every game ever made and seen every movie, of course not. But I've at least tried a lot and am eager to try more. I know where my tastes lie. I love platformers and action games mostly, and anything with a focus on exploration. I don't normally like turn-based RPGs and anything that has a lot of grinding. Yet, for some reason, I have over 1,000 hours in Ark Survival Evolved, a horribly designed survival game where a majority of the mechanics waste your time. It sucks, and I know it sucks. Doesn't mean I didn't have fun playing it with my friends, but I'm able to critique why I had fun during those times and what could have been done to make the game better. Even though I normally avoid turn-based RPGs, I gave Undertale a shot and actually really enjoyed it. I've always avoided the horror genre, but a few years ago I started really getting into movies like Alien, The Shining, and The Thing. Now I've been enjoying the Resident Evil games, Alien Isolation, and even Subnautica when I'm terrified of water. It's healthy to push yourself, just a little bit, and see what else is out there that you might have been missing out on for so long. A different example of this, I tried the demo for the Final Fantasy VII Remake expecting maybe a decent fast-paced action system, and I didn't like it, and that's okay. There is nothing wrong with having an open mind about the things you love. Maybe you'll realize why you love something so much, and then love it even more. Or you'll realize that it doesn't really click with you anymore, and open your mind to something better that you never knew about. I used to really love Sonic Adventure 2 when I was younger, but now, I don't find it that fun anymore. This doesn't mean you can't enjoy Sonic Unleashed, or dislike Sonic Mania, or enjoy the Sonic movie, or anything like that. It's just that through experiencing new things, you'll be able to approach what you already like with a new mindset, and maybe you'll understand why other people might have different opinions on it. Alright, while I'm still talking about Sonic fans, let's recommend some really cool fan stuff to check out from the past year or so. You guys are always doing incredible work, and I want to highlight the things that have had my attention. Sonic Robo Blast 2, or SRB2 for short, is a fan game that has been around for a very long time. I've played it here and there over the years, but only got into it recently, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. A fully 3D classic Sonic experience with incredible art direction and great music, and a huge community of modders always adding more content to the game. I do think the levels can overstay their welcome since they're so large, and it is a bit too easy to get lost sometimes, but the core of the game design is really solid. It even has online multiplayer and an amazing spin-off called SRB2 Kart that might secretly be the best Sonic racing game. If you've never heard of this, definitely check it out. Sonic Galactic, a new 2D Sonic fan game from the Sonic Amateur Games Expo in 2020. This project blew me away when I first saw it. Absolutely fell in love with the sprite work. This is peak Sonic art. Great level design so far, fun character movesets, and even a new character with his own twist on the Sonic formula. Really looking forward to more from this one. Project Hero, another 3D momentum-driven Sonic fan game. I've mentioned this one in a previous video or two before. This one recently had a huge change in direction, and it looks fantastic. No new publicly released build yet, but I'm super excited. Hoping we hear more from the Utopia team this year as well. It's been a while. Lastly, just a few other YouTube videos and channels that I think might be worth looking into if you're interested. One of my friends has just made his own channel, the first video being a revisit of Sonic 1 on Mega Drive. He's doing more than just Sonic. Oh god, I wish that were me. But this first video is a great place to start. His channel name is The Retro Count. Go check him out. You've likely heard of him already, but JebTube did a pretty comprehensive video about the state of the Sonic series a while back called Farewell Sonic Forever, that touches upon a few similar points from this video and previous works of mine. I would recommend it if you want a more in-depth dive into a lot of the sort of current issues with the Sonic series that are hopefully going to be fixed soon. These aren't Sonic channels, but if you want some general game analysis stuff, I'd highly recommend watching Joseph Anderson, Matthew Matosis, King K, and Neril. All of these channels have a huge archive of great videos talking about a variety of games, and they're some of my biggest inspirations for the content that I produce. The video game documentary channel NoClip is amazing as well. And if you're really wondering where that new Sonic game is, I'd suggest watching Badnik Mechanic's video, The Reason Why SEGA Hasn't Announced a New Sonic Game Yet. Speaking of which, I think it's finally time to talk about that. Alright, one last little section before I wrap up this video that's gone on for far too long already. Let's talk about the next Sonic game. For all we know, there might not even be a Sonic game this year, guys. Let's just be real. It sucks that COVID basically cancelled any plans of there being another anniversary party. I really wanted to go to the next one since I couldn't be there last time. No Sonic Revolution for me either. Maybe next year if America gets their act together. All I want is something good. I want to play a new Sonic game that is genuinely incredible. Other than its reuse of old zones, that's what Mania was for me. As excited as I would be for a sequel, what I really need to see is proof that Sonic Team knows what they're doing. I want a fully 3D, momentum-based Sonic experience with an emphasis on rolling down hills and launching off inclines. I want a good story with voice actors that don't embarrass me, and a script that reminds me of why I love these characters so much. I want a rocking, swinging soundtrack of great tunes like Mania and Team Sonic Racing, not the synth rubbish that we had in Forces. I want to explore incredible new worlds, not the same ones we've seen so many times before. I want a game I can recommend to those who aren't fans of Sonic without having to temper their expectations. I want a game that brings Sonic back. Sonic can work in 3D, we just need to do it right. This is his 30th anniversary. It's been close to 5 years since the announcement of Mania and Forces. Sonic Generations is almost 10 years old. Sonic Colors is almost 11. Mania will be turning 4 years old in August, the same for Forces in November. It's a shame that we only seem to get big releases on the 5-year anniversaries now, ever since Generations, but I really hope this time we can see something good. The movie, despite my issues, brought a lot of attention to Sonic again. The comics have incredible writing, with Ian Flynn working on many #KnowingSmile related projects. The previous writers and voice actors are gone. We could be getting some stellar new talent or returning fan favorites. Aaron has worked his way up in SEGA. Who knows what level of influence he has over the company now? Sonic's got a new movie and TV show arriving next year, both of which could be huge improvements from what's come before. So, how is Sonic doing in 2021? I'll say this, before the recent news, I was very cynical about what could be coming next. I was almost expecting another boost down a hallway adventure with a constipated Sonic voice and reused levels. But there is a chance now. A very small chance that we could be getting something amazing really soon. What if Ian is writing the new game? What if we somehow got Ryan Drummond back, or Ben Schwartz, or another great new voice for Sonic? What if they realized just how much fans love the open-ended 3D interpretation of classic gameplay seen in Utopia and Project Hero, and went back into what made Sonic great in the first place? What if the Sonic movie sequel and Sonic Prime are both actually really good? Or are we just getting some crappy remakes of the adventure games that ruin anything good about them in the first place, with another boring live-action movie set on Earth and a lame Netflix series to follow? Only time will tell, but I have some hope. In the meantime, I've got plenty of other games to play and movies to watch, but I'll still love Sonic and will always be interested in what comes next. I'll just keep reading the comics while I wait. Well, I hope the extreme length of this video made for a good comeback of the channel. I've been gone for almost a year because COVID changed my household situation so I could never record clean audio, but I found a setup that kinda works now. I'm recording out in a different room in the middle of the night with a spare mattress against the door to block all noise. That's my new setup. During my absence, I was still making a bunch of 3D art like my Hydro City diorama, sculpting exercises, and dinosaur robots from Mega Man 7. And I was still active on Discord and Twitter, so if I ever vanish again, check me out over there to make sure I'm still breathing. I'm also running a second channel that just goes by my real name, where I drop things that don't belong here. It's mainly me messing with people in Sea of Thieves and other funny stuff that I just want to archive without clogging up things here on the main channel. Go give it a look if you want. Also, keep an eye out later this year for the Sonic Adventure 2 Reimagine project that I helped out on. That should be fun. Thank you to my friend Steve, aka Billina Productions, for voicing Sonic. You may see a bit more of my work in the not too distant future in the upcoming Sonic Warriors project of his. That star post in the teaser poster was made by me. I can't say much else, just look forward to it and please be patient. It's hard for me to justify making videos or posts online about things other than Sonic because they always do far worse, but I have a few ideas kicking around for other videos that I would like to do if I get the chance. I really hope this video opens some of you up to trying new things and expanding your interest outside of Sonic the Hedgehog. That was sort of the hidden point of my last video as well. If any of those other games I mentioned interested you, please give them a look. To make it clear, I'm not asking you to be negative about everything or to be negative about everything to do with Sonic, but to simply be open to analyzing things beyond the surface level and understanding why you like or dislike something. There is nothing wrong with being analytical and critical of the things you love. It can help you to develop your personal quality standards, and you won't feel the need to validate yourself by posting about how underrated Sonic Unleashed is for the 50th time on Twitter. Also, go play Outer Wilds. Right now. Go play that game. I'm serious. I have a gun. Thank you all very much for watching. Stay safe so we can all visit each other again sometime soon, and I'll see you all next time.